Good afternoon, everyone. It's a pleasure to welcome those who are online, to welcome those who are here in person. It's a little cold outside on another blistery Manitoba afternoon, but the warmth here in Candace House, I wish everybody could feel it. And I've had a little opportunity just in the past few minutes to speak to some folks here, and tremendous warmth in terms of the love and compassion that was exchanged. During my time as an elected representative, to me, one of the most amazing things that I've seen from Manitobans is that when they go through tragedy or through difficulty, when they come through that tragedy or difficulty, they often look for something to make meaning of it, to bring change from their experience, and to leave a legacy. And Candace House is very much about that. Many Manitobans, those who are my age or older, will remember very vividly the story of Candace and the strength of Cliff and Wilma, but then also now understand more so than ever that from that tragedy and from that strength has come a desire to leave a legacy, and that is Candace House. To talk about how to provide support to others, to speak of forgiveness, to talk about a path that is difficult sometimes, but that can lead to healing. When I think of Candace House, those are some of the values that I think of. And I know that our government understands that those who are victims of crime need that support that is offered from places like Candace House and others. Today we're joined by Cecily Hildebrand, the Executive Director of Candace House, and Cindy Guillemont, who's going to share a very powerful story. And as part of us announcing that today the Manitoba government is providing $100,000 to this wonderful facility so they can do more of the incredible work that they do. This funding comes from the Criminal Property Forfeiture Program, where justice officials are able to take the proceeds of crime, and those proceeds often cause harm to individuals, and turn those proceeds into something that can provide support for individuals, and today is a testament of that. Of the $100,000 that the government is announcing today for Candace House, $50,000 will go to the Healing Haven program, which provides home-like refuge for individuals and families impacted by violence and the criminal death of a loved one while they navigate the justice system. It will also provide $50,000 for the newly created Heart Spaces program, which will provide trauma-informed and culturally safe spaces for those impacted by violent crime to meet and speak with justice system personnel and support people such as elders and grandmothers. I'm really, really grateful that Wilma Dirksen could join us here this afternoon. I know, Wilma, this is a legacy for you. It's a legacy because of you. And I also know that there are thousands of people who have contributed privately to ensure that this is a possibility. So the Manitoba government comes alongside as a partner, but a small partner overall compared to the many, many people who come and given their support and given their donations because they believe in the vision of Candace House as well. I'm going to ask Cindy Guillemont to come forward and speak. And Cindy, we only got a chance to speak a little bit for a few minutes before this live event started. And I want to thank you for your courage. I saw you and Wilma interact a little bit, and it was, it was really heartfelt to see the love between the two of you, because you share an experience. And today you're going to share your experience with all of us and with Manitobans, and I can't imagine how difficult it will be, but I want you to know that even though we won't all be standing right beside you, hugging, I hope you feel the warmth that all of us that are here in this room and that those who are watching online have for you as you're speaking and giving your story, which I know will be difficult, but it'll be incredibly impactful and incredibly important for those who hear it. So, Cindy, please come up and share your story.
Thank you. My name is Cynthia Guimond. I lost my son to a violence 4.5 years ago. His name was Ron. Without Candace House, I don't think we would not been able to get through this terrible, terrible impact of what happened to our family. So just knowing that we can come here, and the girls came here too. They came and sit while they were doing live feed for the court because of COVID. And I always wanted to come back here all the time and visit. I keep in touch with Cicely through our Facebook, and which is absolutely awesome. So I think about this place all the time. And there's no better place else than a Candace House for people that have lost their loved ones through violence. My son Ron, it's so hard to say, like, I'm shaking right now, so it's Candace House has to be all over for families to get through difficult times like this. Because you come out of the courtroom crying, and then you come straight here, and then she's here to hug you and give you support. And we just sit and talk, and then she even stays after hours if we need her. And she's willing to talk on the phone with us, well, with me anyway, which is a great support. This has to be on all the time for families, which is awesome. I can't say enough. I tell everybody about it, that this is so great. And then I don't know what else I can say out of the goodness of my heart. I'm grateful and thank you that there are places like this.
There's sometimes a saying that some people need no introduction. Cecily, I think you almost need a no introduction because you're going to come up here on your own. Cindy, thank you so much. You know, you mentioned before that you were nervous. Boy, you did a great job. And thank you so much for sharing the importance of Candace House to you. Very much appreciated. Cecily Hildebrandt, the executive director. So, you know, Wilma, I think, said that she was sort of speaking in confidence. I hope I can say this, Wilma, that she said the best decision she ever made was hiring you to be the executive director of Candace House. And that speaks a lot for an individual who trusts their story and their legacy into another individual, because that really is showing a tremendous amount of trust, and you've clearly honored it by the work that you've done. So please, I'll say a few words.
Thank you. Thank you, Cindy. It has been one of the honors of my life to have this job and to be able to meet families and individuals like Cindy, like Wilma and Cliff. It's truly a tremendous privilege. Thank you for this funding. Thank you for honoring the courage of individuals and families who are going through the legal process. This investment in Candace House is really an investment in families and in our community. It will ensure more people have a safe place and the resources and care that they need at a time that most of us just can't imagine, when they're going through the legal process because someone they loved was a victim of crime or they experienced violence. When we opened Candace House 3 years ago, through the perseverance and vision of the Dirksons and with investments from the province, as well as many caring donors in our community, we knew the space was needed, but I don't think I realized at the time that it was necessary, truly necessary, for victims, survivors, and families to properly heal. Our legal system wasn't designed for victims or the families of victims, and for a long time, these families have been left out of the process. That is changing. thanks to many in this room and because of families who have gone through the process, who understand it and who know intimately how it needs to change and what needs to be done. In working with the families over these last few years, we've realized what else we need: more comforting places, new kinds of spaces, and more resources. Our plan is to expand Candace House so that we don't have to turn families away, and so that everyone who needs it can have a space to feel, to cope, to heal through the most unimaginably difficult time in their lives. We've just signed a lease on the rest of the main floor right here down the street from the courthouse, and fundraising efforts are getting underway to renovate and furnish it. Thank you, Minister, for kicking off this effort and for understanding and honoring the needs of these families. Thank you to everyone who has been part of Candace House, our funders, our supporters, our community, our service partners, our friends. And importantly, thank you to all the families, Cindy, who have stayed with us. Thank you for your courage and for your caring. It has been an honor to walk with you. Thank you.
And it is an honor for, on behalf of Premier Heather Stefanson and the Manitoba government, to walk alongside with Candace House as it walks alongside with those who need this support. That concludes the announcement portion of our announcement, and I think that there may be a question or two.
So just with the protesters moving off of Broadway to Memorial, just wondering what the province thinks of this or yourself.
So our view on the blockades that we've seen in Manitoba is that we are looking for a peaceful resolution. We saw the peaceful resolution achieved through the work of the RCMP at Emerson, and we were very supportive and appreciative of the work of the RCMP. I know that the Winnipeg Police Service has been working with the protests outside of the Manitoba legislature, and so I think this is another step in the right direction. You know, we do believe it is time to move forward and move on from the protest, but we also clearly understand that the work of the Winnipeg Police Service together with those who are protesting has made the situation better in terms of noise. Now, in terms of footprint, we believe in the peaceful and democratic right of people to protest, but it certainly is a better place and a good and helpful sign.
Is there anything further you'd like done?
Well, I'm not going to get involved in the operational decisions of the Winnipeg Police Service. Obviously, they make their decisions. I think from the beginning they've indicated that, similar to the RCMP and Emerson, they want to engage in discussions and look towards a peaceful end to the protests. We saw that happen with the RCMP and their work in Emerson, and it clearly seems to be having an effect in Winnipeg. I know that there will be some who want things done faster. I understand that, but it's good to see progress continue to happen in terms of livability, less noise, less footprint, and ultimately moving on past this.
Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you.
Great. Thanks, everyone.